We get stock specific. Let me take it across. Kunal, Bothra joining us in studio at this point in time. Kunal, what should one make of the moves today? And it's a crucial day, right? You've got the Nifty expiry, monthly expiry in the cash regime. And yesterday too, we saw some moves on cash during the cash session.
Yes. So it's the first time that the markets are closing in with the cash. So we need to see how the markets or traders approach this, because there'll be multiple things which will happen. The VWAP strategy, the arbitrage strategy, which typically tends to happen on the expiry day half an hour. We need to see whether in the same gusto the entire strategy plays out. Closing of positions, whether the traders who roll over positions, whether they want to do it before 315 or they want to keep something pending from 330 to 340 in case if there is any kind of a gyration in terms of moves. So we need to see a lot of different strategies panning out. Maybe it's the first time when the markets are getting introduced to this. We'll see how the markets take it in and what kind of strategies and changes or adjustments the traders they tend to do. What I sensed yesterday happened to the markets is majority of the closing of positions of the rollovers panned out yesterday itself, because traders didn't want that risk that I don't know how the markets are going to pan out today or the closing session. So I would sense that today's move in the last half an hour could be more of a leftover move, like an experimental move from a lot of traders to see how the entire cash session plays out with the expiry.
If you look at the total rollovers, 77% of the entire futures turnover rollover has already happened to the in September side. So there isn't much of a volume except for 1 lakh crore which is there in August, and most of that would expire. If my assumption is that. But do you see move the volume which we were saying during the cash session of nearly 1,000 crores in the cash market? Today it should be more, because that's going to set the closing for the futures, because futures close 10 minutes later on.
Correct.
So you'll see a lot of volatility there.
Yeah, so the volumes naturally will increase from the average of 1,980 crores which we've seen over the last 2-3 weeks since the introduction of cash. That's point number one. Second, I think I'll also sense that the second half of the markets would be more volatile from 315 to 330, because the F&O markets will still be on. And expiry is something which impacts both the futures prices as well as the option prices by a decent magnitude, because that's where traders they tend to enter into strong volumes, a lot of particulars behind this kind of a strategy implementation. But that 15 minutes window from 315 to 330 is where I would expect the markets to be a little bit higher volatile than what we've seen over the last maybe couple of weeks since the introduction of cash.
Kunal, your picks for today?
So I'll go with 2 buy calls, but the sector which I would be bullish on is metals, something which we've been discussing over the last I think a week or so. Tata Steel is something which starts to look attractive at the current levels of 185, 186 thereabouts, where the stock closed yesterday. Almost like a classical double bottom at place for Tata Steel, and relative strength in terms of volumes coming back over the last 3-4 days on a very gradual basis. We've seen the volumes rising. So we'd look at 196 as a target for Tata Steel, stop us at 180. Cochin Shipyard, I think after weeks and months of price correction, the stock is on the verge of breakout of its 200 moving average. More like a bullish flag formation or a consolidation breakout is what I'm eyeing for Cochin Shipyard. So we'd look at a buy with a target of 1600, stop loss to be kept at 1477.
Okay.